Have you ever lost something important and thought it was gone forever? Maybe it was your phone, your keys, or even something you borrowed from a friend. Well, there's a story in the Bible about a group of people who lost something valuable, and how a miracle brought it back in the most unexpected way. Let's travel back to ancient Israel, to a time when a prophet named Elisha was leading a group of young men who wanted to learn from him. These men were called the sons of the prophets, and they looked up to Elisha as their teacher and guide. One day, the group realized that their meeting place was getting too small. There were just too many of them, and they needed more space. So, they came up with a plan. Let us go down to the Jordan River and build a bigger place where we can all meet together. Elisha thought it was a great idea and agreed to go with them. So off they went, Elisha and his students down to the riverbank, ready to get to work. They started chopping down trees to use for building. Everyone was pitching in, using whatever tools they had. But back then, tools like axes were rare and expensive. In fact, most people couldn't afford to own one, so they had to borrow them. As they were working, one of the young men was swinging his borrowed axe, when suddenly, the iron axe head flew off the handle and splashed into the river. The man was horrified, cried out, "Oh no, my master!" It was borrowed. He knew he couldn't afford to replace it, and he was worried about what the owner would say. Elisha saw how upset the young man was. He asked, "Where did it fall?" The man pointed to the spot in the water where the axe head had disappeared. Now, the Jordan River wasn't a small stream. It was wide and deep, and the axe head had sunk straight to the bottom. There was no way anyone could just reach in and grab it. Elisha didn't panic. Instead, he did something surprising. He picked up a stick, walked over to the river, and threw the stick into the water right where the axe head had fallen. And then, something amazing happened. The iron axe head floated up to the surface and bobbed there, as if it were made of wood. Elisha told the young man, "Pick it up." The man reached out, grabbed the axe head, and was overjoyed. What seemed lost forever was suddenly back in his hands, all thanks to a simple act of faith and a miracle from God. So, what can we learn from the story of the floating axe head? First, it reminds us that God cares about the little things in our lives, not just the big, dramatic moments. Even when we lose something small or feel anxious about something that seems unimportant to others, God is willing to help. Second, it shows us the power of asking for help. The young man didn't try to hide his mistake. He called out for help, and Elisha responded with kindness and faith. Sometimes life throws us problems that seem impossible to fix. But just like the floating axe head, help can come in ways we never expect. All we need to do is ask, trust, and be open to the miracles that might come our way. If you want to see more, then subscribe to this channel